This is the new MG Majestor and this is the segment king, the Toyota Fortuner, and today I'm going to be comparing them. Because the Fortuner sells more than all other cars in the segment combined. The Majestor is the updated version of the Gloster and the Fortuner I have with me here today is the Legender Neo Drive on its last legs because the next generation model is due anytime soon. Both these cars here are rear ladder frame SUVs, which means you need the right tires to conquer all types of terrains. And that's where the Apollo Aptera 82 tires come into the picture, as they use triplex casing and a patented polymer blend compound for extreme durability and puncture resistance. Even on the toughest of terrains, these tires offer you strong grip and superior traction, thanks to the patented multi-directional tread design. Check the link in the description to know more. Now, let's start with the most important aspect of these cars, design. And there is no doubt that the Majestor looks really good. It's fresh, more fresh if you have forgotten the Gloster, and looks even bigger than the Fortuner because it's 251mm longer, 161mm wider and 35mm taller too. It's also running on bigger 19-inch wheels and has two exhaust tips instead of the Fortuner's one, which is also hidden. So, the big Fortuner is actually smaller than the Majestor, with the only USP of the Fortuner being the 6mm higher ground clearance at 225mm. Also, you get chrome door handles in the Fortuner, while the Majestor has gloss black finish on its door handles. That said, in spite of its age, the Fortuner still looks quite good. But it's the Majestor which has more road presence. But some elements on the Majestor are just too loud and feel excessive, like the Majestor branding on the tailgate and Morris garages written both at the front and rear just feel so aftermarket. Now let's step inside because both cars are poles apart. In the Fortuner, you get hard plastics everywhere. This car feels like it has been adapted from a truck because clearly it is. While the exterior doesn't look dated, the interior sure does. Flat dashboard, dated infotainment system and lack of features makes the Fortuner a car that is 2010 on the inside. In the Majestor, it's a different world altogether because this car is a great fusion of rugged SUV with modern interiors because you get soft touch materials all across, including on the dashboard and door pads. And don't even get me started on features because the Majestor is so well equipped that it makes the Fortuner look absolutely basic in comparison. Features missing in the Fortuner that MG offers in the Majestor include logo projection from the outside rear view mirrors, hydraulic struts for the bonnet, auto ORVM tilt in reverse, ventilated front seats, massage front seats with 8 options and 3 levels, memory driver seat, memory outside rear view mirrors, PM 2.5 air filter, 220-watt power outlet in the second row, USB-C charging port at the front, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The Fortuner has wired connectivity, rain sensing wipers, heated outside rear view mirrors, illuminated scuff plates, ambient light with 64 colors, Level 2 ADAS with 13 features, And the Majestor also has welcome seat for the driver, wherein the seat moves ahead and behind, whatever it does when you enter or exit the car, but that's not important. What's important is this car has the all-important sunroof, and it's not a Chintu Mintu sunroof, it's a full freaking panoramic sunroof, which is huge. Well, that's what she said. And you can actually open and close the sunroof with this key. Oh, it's a Fortuner key. With this key, yeah, that is also available in this car, which is kind of cool. Meanwhile, the Fortuner doesn't even get a single pane sunroof. Oh, so painful. Some features in the Majestor sound great on paper, like electric parking brake with auto hold, 12.3-inch fully digital instrument cluster and column mounted shifter. But I prefer the Fortuner's manual handbrake, old school analog dials and a proper gear lever which can be used for manual control. Of course, both cars get paddle shifters too. One feature that was there in the Gloster that has been removed in the Majestor is self-park. Then there are some common features, but the Majestor has superior hardware, like both get JBL speakers, but the Majestor has 12 speakers in front of the Fortuner's 11. Yes, the MG has the better sound system here. Both get touchscreen infotainment screens, but the Majestor's is bigger and far better at 12.3 inches against the Fortuner's 8-inch, which is very dated. Both get climate control air conditioning, but the Majestor has 3 zones while the Fortuner has just 2. Both get wireless chargers, but the Majestor gets 2 and the Fortuner just 1. However, it's a useless feature. Both get cruise control, but the Majestor has adaptive cruise control. Both get 360-degree parking cameras, but the Fortuner's is so bad that the MG's average camera quality looks good in comparison. In fact, in the MG, you can actually rotate the car, but the UI is so poor that when the car is in motion, the wheels are just stuck. They don't move in the screen, which makes it look weird. Both have connected car tech, but the Fortuner has 20 features, meanwhile the Majestor has 75 features. And both have powered front seats, but the Majestor has 12-way powered for the driver, while the Fortuner has just 8-way powered. While both cars get 2 parking sensors at the front, the Majestor gets 4 parking sensors at the rear. Meanwhile, the Fortuner gets 5 parking sensors at the rear, even though both of them don't have self-park. And the all-important ventilated front seats, which by the way was there in the Fortuner and has been removed in the hybrid models because the DC to DC converter has been placed below the seat. So the ventilation seat mechanism could not be packaged, which means that the non-hybrid models have it, but this being so expensive doesn't have ventilated seats absolutely blows my mind. There's no logic of not having ventilated seats. Come on Toyota, do something, give us ventilated seats. Probably they will do it in the next generation model and package the whole ventilated seat mechanism better, but that car is due since some time now. Makes me wonder that those who find the Fortuner crude aren't going to consider the MG either, because for softies there are soft roaders like the Volkswagen Tayron and the Skoda Kodiaq. Brilliant cars, but obviously do not have the rugged feel of these two SUVs here. Anyways, the Fortuner has some unique features too, which the Majestor misses out on, like front fog lamps and an extra airbag, which makes it 7 airbags in the Fortuner against the 6 airbags in the Majestor, because the Fortuner also gets a driver knee airbag. The Fortuner also gets a slew of physical buttons, which makes it more usable in front of the Majestor's over-reliance on the touchscreen. Heck, even the memory seats and headlight control switches are in the touchscreen. What? Both these cars are available as 7-seaters with a bench in the second row, but the Majestor also comes with the option of a 6-seater wherein you get captain seats in the second row. Extremely comfortable. I really like it. Both these cars are very similar when it comes to the second row experience, because both of them get roof mounted AC vents, none in the center. Both of them get USB charging sockets in the center, 2 of them. but it's the Majestor which happens to be outdated here because it gets USB-A charging ports. Meanwhile, the Fortuner gets two USB-C charging ports. Obviously, you get a center armrest here with cup holders, yeah, and headroom seems to be adequate. The problem is this is more truck-based. That's the reason you sit up in a knees-up position. So under-thigh support is really poor in the Fortuner, but legroom is actually good. Sliding seats in both the cars, and both of them have reclining seats as well, and you can recline quite a lot. Yeah, you can almost sleep here. So in terms of rear seat comfort, the Fortuner is good, but definitely the Majestor is even better. And one feature which is missing in both the cars is a sunblind at the rear. That's a feature which is offered in sub 4 meter cars like the Kia Ceros. So what's stopping these brands from offering a rear sunblind? Now don't tell me I have to get it as an aftermarket accessory. I know it's easily available and it's not rocket science, but come on, itna to de do mujhe, please. Getting into the Majestor is somehow easier than the Fortuner. It's not much of a climb. So yeah, it's easier ingress here, and somehow the seats feel better. I don't know why. I mean, they're much more comfortable. I know why, because this is the 6-seater version with captain seats. You can obviously slide the seat ahead and behind to negotiate with the third row passengers for legroom. And this seat also reclines by quite a lot, making it very comfortable as well. You get your own armrest here, which is kind of cool. There's some storage space here as well. Meanwhile, you get more premium AC controls in the Majestor, which are like lower down. Meanwhile, in the Fortuner, they are up, because the Fortuner obviously does not get a sunroof. Here you get a massive panoramic sunroof, which brings in a lot of airy feeling. And because of the sunroof, obviously, the light placement here is on the side, and so is the AC vent placement as well. Somehow, under-thigh support is still not very good here. Yeah, quite bad for someone as tall as me. I'm 6 feet 2 inches in terms of height. However, it is definitely better than the Fortuner. Legroom is better, knee room is better. Overall, it feels much better than the Fortuner, but footroom isn't that great, which is kind of surprising, because in the Fortuner, I think the battery is below the front passenger seat, so obviously it compromises on the footroom. Here also, footroom is not the best. So that's kind of weird, but yeah, this is a nice place to be in. Cabin feels airy, seats feel nice, definitely way more premium. I was saying better, but yeah, much better than the Fortuner. The second row of the Majestor, superb, absolutely phenomenal. I love it. Now, in order to access the third row, all you have to do is pull this lever and bhai tumble ho ja. Yeah, the seat tumbles like this and you can easily walk in. But in the MG, it's a bit different, because what happens is when you pull the lever, you actually end up pushing the seat all the way ahead and raising the seat base, and then you get inside. So it doesn't tumble, but it has a different mechanism, sort of works there. But let's get into the third row of the Fortuner, which ain't as good as the Majestor, because look at me, it's so uncomfortable here. It looks like I'm doing abs. I think the seat reclines. Yeah, this is quite upright right now, so let me recline this now. Recline angle is good. Knee room is poor. The under-thigh support is not the best. Headroom is also poor. Roof mounted AC vents, some storage space here. It's not a good place to be in. There's no footroom here. Poor legroom. What is this? And getting in and out is quite difficult as well, because you need to do acrobats. So you get this handle in both the cars, but the Majestor also has a handle here, making it much easier. And why am I climbing here? Because in order to get to the third row, you have to do it through the center. This seat does not tumble. No tumbling mechanism in the 6-seater version. Yeah, so I just move this ahead, and no, I can't move it much ahead, and then I have to walk through here, which is not the easiest thing to do. Come on, they should have given it the tumbling mechanism to get into the third row with more ease. And I am here, and I don't feel like this is bad in any way, because this is definitely better than the Fortuner. Obviously, knee room is dependent on where the second row of seats are, but under-thigh support is horrendous here as well. Look at this knees up position, because seat base is so short that yeah, I'm feeling quite uncomfortable. But yeah, headroom seems okay. Overall space here is much better than the Fortuner. Not great, it's best for kids, but here you get a USB-A charging socket as well, and you can obviously recline the seats just like in the case of the Fortuner, but the Fortuner has a lever here. There's a strap which is not the best to use, and yeah, the seat recline angle isn't that much like in the case of the Fortuner, but the floor is flat in the center, which means in the version with 7 seats, center passenger will be way more comfortable. MG is beaten Toyota in terms of space in both the rows, which is quite amazing. The reason for the Majestor to have more space in both the second and third row is because of its longer wheelbase, which is longer by 205 mm when compared to the Fortuner. Both cars have good amount of storage space, but the Majestor has a storage bin right below the center console. The Majestor also gets a secret storage compartment below the rightmost AC vent. Meanwhile, the Fortuner gets 2 glove boxes, and one of them The upper one is also cooled. You also get handy openable cup holders in front of the side AC vents. Neat. The Majestor has a 47-liter bigger boot, but that's not the main difference here. The fact is, in the Majestor, you can fold the last row of seats down. Meanwhile, in the Fortuner, you have to lift it up, which actually hinders usability. In terms of warranty, Toyota offers a 3 years 1 lakh kilometer warranty. Meanwhile, MG is offering a 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty. Yes, MG knows the reason why the Fortuner sells so well, which is basically QDR, quality and reliability, which is actually a Japanese acronym. However, if they really wanted buyers to feel at ease, they should have offered a 10-year unlimited kilometer warranty, something which other Chinese brands are doing in other countries, like I think in the Middle East. Jetor offers it. Jetor is coming to India. The T2 is going to blow Tata Mahindra out of the waters. Yay! No, not really. Yeah, but why am I doing it? Yes, more cars to drive, more things to about, but that's not relevant right now. Size, features and space. The Majestor clearly has a big advantage, but can the Fortuner's bigger and higher displacement diesel engine make things different here? Well, there's only one way to find out, which is, okay, I can only close this one. I thought I'm going to knock this one also down, but no, that's not possible. So the thing is, can the Fortuner outdo the MG with its better diesel engine, better handling and a better driving feel? Well, let's give it the beans. Okay, I'll start by driving the Majestor first, and straight away let me tell you, it feels so damn freaking smooth and refined. That's quite unbelievable, and the ride quality is just mind-blowing. The suspension is soft. It just is so much more compliant. It has a better suspension, obviously 5-link rear suspension versus Fortuner's 4-link rear suspension, but there's no replacement for displacement, even though there are double the turbos in this car, because the Fortuner has 1 turbo. This has twin turbos, 2 turbos. This car actually has more power as well by around 11.5 PS. So yes, this is a 2-liter twin turbo diesel engine which is producing 215.5 PS of power and 478.5 Newton meters of torque. So the Fortuner definitely is the one with more torque, at least the automatic. Here you only get an automatic, but the off-road hardware will blow your mind. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop here and we're going to do the 0 to 100 km/h acceleration test, because I don't think I'm going to find another road to do that. So let's see how fast this car goes. Revving the motor, rev still, it's very slow revving, bro. What are you doing? 3000 RPM and off we go. Shifts very slow. So the Fortuner has a 6-speed torque converter automatic gearbox. This one has an 8-speed, but it's quite slow with shifts, kind of sluggish as well, and that's 0 to 100 km/h in 11.35 seconds, which ain't bad, but the Fortuner is just faster. So yeah, in terms of ride, in terms of refinement, smoothness and all, this car just beats the Fortuner easily. But there's a problem, and the problem is this car doesn't feel fast. The Fortuner feels fast. The Fortuner feels more free revving. The Fortuner just feels so much more engaging, exciting, and just, how do I put it, just the better engine in the Fortuner. Obviously more displacement, all those things help the Fortuner, but come on MG, you knew this is an issue with the Gloster. You failed to update this car, and obviously the Fortuner has hybrid assist, so that also helps to a certain extent, but turbo lag is just massive in this car. It's just too sluggish, is not fast revving, isn't high revving when compared to the Fortuner. Red line's around 4000 RPM, although you can come into manual mode here. So when you come into manual mode, it will rev slightly higher. Dissatisfied shift condition, it says, because it just isn't eager to downshift aggressively. 4500 RPM when you come into manual mode. And what do I see there? That is a Honda Civic with hot wheel branding on it. Kind of weird, but okay. Now the steering of this car is quite light and is definitely better than the Fortuners in terms of ease of driving, because this is an electric power steering. The Fortuner has a hydraulic power steering, which is obviously very heavy, cumbersome as well. However, this has steering modes as well, and you can customize the modes. So both the cars obviously get multiple modes in terms of engine and like mainly engine modes, but this one also has steering modes, and then obviously traction control modes also you can change. But yeah, this is so frustrating, this screen. I don't know why it's so sluggish, probably because they've removed internet inside badging on the boot, so that's why the internet is not coming here. And this car now feels more Chinese when compared to the predecessor, the Gloster, because the Gloster felt so British because of the British branding on the front fender. Jokes aside, that's not even a joke, that's a fact. Why did they remove? Thankfully they did that, but still a lot of stickers on this car, but no internet inside. Maybe they should have internet inside, 5G connectivity, all those stickers as well. Yeah, smooth, super smooth engine, very refined but slow revving, and that's one of the major reasons why this car will not be able to outsell the Fortuner, because the Fortuner, in spite of the stiff suspension and bad ride quality, definitely feels so much more engaging and fun, because the engine is so damn freaking aggressive and entertaining to drive as well. So yeah, that's one of the things. And the other thing is obviously ease of use, because here I'm trying to use the front wipers. I'm not able to figure out things. I ended up using the rear wiper because, you know what, I'm using the light probably. How do I make this work? Yeah, everything is stuffed in one lever, because MG is like, we will try and do a lot more things. Then okay, now that's how it works. So yeah, a lot of knowledge transfer is needed to really figure out how to make things work in this particular car. Body roll is there in both the cars, and obviously in plenty, but somehow the Fortuner has slightly lesser roll, although because both are ladder frames, both are very much fun to drive. Now here you get 110 mm of water weighting capacity, extra 810 mm of water weighting capacity, which is amazing. You get 3 diff locks, center, rear and front. Fortuner only gets a rear diff lock, and you also get M-Crawl, which is basically like the cruise control for off-road driving, wherein the car can crawl ahead and all. So off-road hardware in this car, absolutely mind-blowing. So it will definitely outrun the Fortuner when it comes to off-road ability. And in spite of the bigger 19-inch wheels, the ride quality is just so much better here. Unfreaking believable. What a smooth and nice ride. Now your ladder frame SUV does not need to be uncomfortable for you, because this is just so freaking awesome in the way it rides. Come on, power. I just wish it had more performance, and like the Fortuner just feels so much more exciting to drive. That's the reason I think I should just jump into the Fortuner. But before that, let me quickly do the brake test of this car to show you how it stops, because I feel both cars really need better brakes. Unfortunately, because of the weight and the ladder frame and the suspension, it has too much of ABS pulsating. And let's go again. Yeah, 75 litre fuel tank capacity. Fortuner has 80 litres. In terms of fuel efficiency, the Fortuner will be more efficient, because you don't really have to pull the Fortuner into the higher end of the rev range, because the Fortuner is just so much more peppy to drive. Let's jump into it right away. And the Fortuner just feels so much better to drive. It's way more punchy, way more powerful. At least it feels that way, even though it has got lesser power at 204 PS, but torque is more at 500 Newton meters here. And it makes a huge difference, because the Fortuner just feels so much more fun to drive. It has better low end grunt, mid range is nice, top end is also good, but the only problem here is it is just too boomy inside. So yeah, the Fortuner doesn't have any sort of insulation, I feel, because it just doesn't feel refined at all, and the Majestor feels so much more refined. So definitely it's the Majestor which has the more refined engine, but the Fortuner has the better engine, period. The engine is so eager, it's so punchy, and it has the 48 volt mild hybrid system, which actually ensures that there is torque assist at lower speeds, which definitely helps. Okay, honk bro, what are you doing? Yeah, so torque assist is there, then regeneration, and obviously stop start and all those things have been given here. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 11.1 seconds, slightly faster when compared to the Majestor. But the big thing here is that this car feels much faster somehow. I don't know why, but it just feels so much better in terms of driving feel. Firstly, the steering is really very heavy, hydraulic steering, so you love piloting this car. In fact, push it hard around a corner and you will smile. There is obviously a lot of body roll, but come on bad roads and you will hate this car, because the ride quality is so atrocious. The Majestor just rides so much better, but this car without a doubt feels way better in terms of handling, in terms of steering feel, in terms of the way the engine performs as well. Now this is a 6-speed torque converter automatic gearbox, which is actually very quick with shifts for a torque converter. Yeah, it's a bit sluggish at times, but for the most part I wouldn't blame the gearbox here at all, because it is quite fun. And this is a car which has body roll in plenty, but slightly lesser when compared to the Majestor. You can see tires are screeching. Although tire size is the same between both the cars for the road tires, still the tires do screech quite a lot, because right now I'm running on rear wheel drive, so there doesn't seem to be much grip as such. And the steering is a lovely unit. It's very heavy, but it's also like unbearably heavy at lower speeds. So in the city, if you don't have muscles, don't even come near this car, because you will not be able to pilot this car. That's a bit of a problem. Now come on, power, you want it, you got it. It's always eager to give you performance so that you can make quick overtakes whenever you want, doesn't hesitate at all. And you obviously have got paddle shifters, and you know what, it holds on to a gear as well. Usually it upshifts around 4,500 RPM. Getting so boomy. I think the engine will blast only, but it's a Toyota engine, no chance of it blasting. So 4,500 is where it usually shifts, but when you come into manual control, obviously things change. We are in sport mode right now. There is a normal drive mode, there's an eco drive mode, and only engine modes these are. So they don't make any change as such to the steering wheel, which is so damn freaking heavy. Hydraulic unit, what do you expect? But that said, in the Majestor you also can make changes to the steering. Yeah, you can make changes to the steering as well, which is okay, fine. Good, but you don't need to make changes to the steering wheel here, because it's just so freaking amazing. Yeah, I'm in sport mode right now for the gearbox, and actually was in manual mode. Now I've come to sport mode. What a joy this car is to drive. It has got an 80-litre fuel tank, slightly bigger, but 5-litre bigger is not really needed here, because this is more efficient when compared to the Majestor. Should return somewhere around, I think probably this car will return 8 to 9 kilometers per litre, or even 9 to 10 kilometers per litre, again depending on your driving style. If you push it hard the way I'm doing, obviously it's going to drink a lot of fuel, because you're going to extract performance from it. So low end is peppy, mid range is good, top end is okay, but it's too loud in the top end, like super duper loud. What a loud car. Yeah, all the time ringing for 80 kilometers per hour beep. The horn is so bad for something which is so damn looking, and the wipers, yeah, they work really well here. So all in all, Toyota's made a more practical and usable car. Although yeah, when you sit inside you realize this is like from the 80s or the 90s, because everything seems quite dated on the inside. Things could be a lot better in the way the whole interior would have should have been done and all those things. But it also comes with a manual gearbox option, which means cheaper prices and more driving fun and engaging to drive. But most people end up buying an automatic only, because an automatic is obviously more logical in such cars. There's also a petrol, by the way, which is a 2.7 litre NA petrol engine, not great in performance and more worse or horrible or horrendous in terms of fuel efficiency, because it will return around 1 kilometers per litre. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but it should return around 3 to 5 kilometers per litre depending on your driving style. So as I see it clearly, the Majestor has the more refined engine, the Fortuner has the better engine, the better performance and the better gearbox as well. The Majestor has a better ride, way better ride, and for a ladder frame, the ride is commendably awesome. Meanwhile, the Fortuner has the better handling, stiffer suspension here. I don't understand the logic of giving a stiff suspension to the Fortuner, because come on, a Fortuner is not about going through such ghat sections. And anyways, that actually brings me to do the brake test. So here we are, standing on the brakes now. Tires screech like crazy. Let's launch the car. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and you can do a burnout actually. Yeah, you can do a burnout. You can spin the rear wheels completely and smoke this car. Throttle pinned around the corner. What a fun car to drive, yeah. Honestly, a car this heavy, this tall and this uncomfortable has no business going through corners with so much fun and engagement. Now obviously there's so much roll, but you enjoy it, and that's the charm of the Toyota Fortuner. What a brilliant and fun car to drive. I don't think anyone drives it the way I'm driving it right now, but I'm just giving you a demo of why this Fortuner is so freaking awesome. Yeah. Absolutely love it. Just keeps making sound all the time. I believe the next generation of the Fortuner will tame down a bit, maybe become more Majestor like. Do we really want that to happen? Absolutely not. I don't want it for sure. Clearly, it's the Majestor which is the better SUV here. It's bigger in size, has more space on the inside, comes with a lot more features, is definitely more practical and also rides better, with the only drawback of the MG being that it's not a Toyota. You see, the Fortuner isn't just a car, it's a brand. It's an emotion. It's an SUV which has proven itself over time, so much so that people who buy the Fortuner don't even look at any other option. Sunroof be damned. The Fortuner doesn't excel in many areas, but its loud engine, heavy steering and stiff ride gives it a driving feel which many Indians somehow love. The Fortuner is cheaper to maintain, easier to upkeep, more reliable and far more durable. In fact, it will outlast any and every MG model ever made. But it's very overpriced. This model here, the Legender, costs rupees 60 lakhs on road Mumbai, but the Fortuner has better resale value too. So, while the Majestor wins this comparison quite easily, it's the Fortuner that wins your heart. And let's be honest, if you had to put rupees 60 lakhs on one of these cars, where would you do it? On an MG or a Toyota? Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also check out the awesome Apollo Aptera 82 tires. The link is somewhere on the top right corner of the screen right now. Bye-bye. Missing the Ford Endeavour. Where are you, Ford? You have been coming every day since so many months.
एक काम कर 200 रुपए दे और 50 रुपए काट ओवर एक्टिंग के वजह से